Hello again, everyone. Is everybody ready for a little bit more of Daniel Nahmod? It was such a wonderful service this morning. It was really a true blessing. And he's going to bless us just a little bit more, maybe a whole lot more, really. So welcome again, and as we said, this is a love offering. Anything that you'd like to share, it will go to a good cause. We're improving the systems here all the time. So without further ado, Daniel, are you ready to go? Here he comes. Enjoy the show, and I know that I saw him down at Unity of Oaks, and he was wonderful. Thank you, Daniel.
You're a good man, Michael. I appreciate your help. Hello. Is this obstructing or is this okay? The lid's not great. Maybe. Oh, can't drop it. Okay, never mind. Okay. So if you need to move, I understand. And if, frankly, if you just want to throw fruit, I understand too. But please don't, but I understand if you want to. All right, let's sing some songs. I'm glad you're here. Thank you for sticking around. Thank you. My pleasure, truly. I'll be glad to come back sometime. When my hands were emptied, when my hope was gone, I couldn't help but wonder, what had I done wrong? But even though my heart was broken, there was no need to despair, 'cause a vessel must be open to put something better there. Oh yeah. Into my empty hands, gently you poured new life for me. Yours is a perfect plan. The ups and the downs were meant to be. Now I understand, you needed my empty hands. So forgive me when I doubt it. I admit sometimes I do. Or consider giving up 'cause I cannot see the truth. I know I'll never go without it. Your deep and abiding love, oh love. Into my empty hands, gently you pour new life for me. Yours is a perfect plan. The ups and the downs were meant to be. Now I understand, you needed my empty hands. Yours is a perfect plan. The ups and the downs were meant to be, and I cannot help but cry to think of the gifts you've given me. Now I understand you needed my empty hands. So thank you for my thank you for my empty hands. Well, I used to dream out loud. Just being human made me proud. Now I throw my hands up in the air from disillusion and despair. My heart has taken such abuse. I've used my hurt as my excuse. It's like my hope has disappeared behind the shadow of my fear. And I wonder why they say that aging thins the skin. Then I remember I am only one, but I am not alone. I don't need to do everything, no. I can right one wrong, I can sing one song. I don't need to do everything. It's time to dive back in. Yeah, it's time to live again. I am unjaded. Whoa. What if you have to fall to grow? I've fallen hard enough to know. So what if life's not fair? Does it mean that I'm too cool to care? And I wonder when I stopped believing right will win. Then I remember I am only one, but I am not alone. I don't need to do everything, no. I can right one wrong, I can sing one song. I don't need to do everything. It's time to dive back in. Yeah, it's time to live again, unjaded. What kind of life would I live with my heart closed? What kind of man would I be? What kind of world will I be creating if I can love with all of me? If I just love with all of me? I am only one, but I am not alone. I don't need to do everything on my own. I can right one wrong, I can sing one song. I don't need to do everything. I am only one, but I am not alone. I don't need to do everything, no. I can right one wrong or sing one song. I don't need to do everything. It's time to dive back in. Yeah, it's time to dive back in. Oh, it's time to live again. I am unjaded. Whoa, unjaded. understood how you turned out so good with all that you've had to endure. No one expected you to make the best of you, the deck stacked against you for sure. The more that I learn, the more I admire how you never got burned being forged in the fire. Yeah, an ordinary mortal would have quit by now, with a life like a field full of mines. You're human, I know, only muscle and bone, but you must have steel in your spine. You never talk about when you first figured out that you'd have to go it alone. It breaks my heart to picture you, a child hiding out of you, so young to fight on your own. But still here you stand, and still here you are, igniting the world with your luminous heart. Yeah, an ordinary mortal would have quit by now, with a life like a field full of mines. You're human, I know, made of muscle and bone, but you must have steel in your spine, and that would explain how you never admit any pain. So let me just say that child has a lot to be proud of, but no longer needs to keep the world at bay. If you were mortal, you'd have quit by now. You've been counted out so many times. You're human like me. You can bruise, you can bleed, but you must have steel in your spine. Yeah, a mortal would have quit by now, but your light was determined to shine. There's so much more than they see. A superhero to me. You must have steel in your spine. You must have steel in your spine. Thanks. What do I do if I'm not chasing anything? What do I do if I've got everything that I need? It's a question that no one's prepared me to answer. Where do I go if I'm right where I'm supposed to be? Where do I go if wherever I am, I am home. It's a mystery. No one can give me an answer. If the usual way doesn't work anymore, if there's no map for what life has in store, what if the race is over and we all automatically win? What if the game is ended long before it even begins? What if the test has been taken and we're all passing again and again? If the race is over, what then? What do I say if it's all perfect anyway? What do I say if I'm not here to change anyone? It's a question I truly don't know how to answer. How do I live if my life is eternity? How do I live if I'm no longer afraid to die? It's a mystery. No one can give me an answer. If the usual way doesn't work for me now, well, that's a void I know nothing about. What if the race is over and we all automatically win? What if the game is ended long before it even begins? What if the test has been taken and we're all passing again and again? If the race is over, what then? What is the purpose of time here on earth? How do I now define my death and birth? For that matter, what is my life really worth in the end? What's mine to give and what's mine to receive? Whom do I worship? What do I believe? It seems every answer comes right back to me in the end. What if the race is over and we all automatically win? What if the game is ended long before it even begins? What if the test has been taken and we're all passing again and again? If the race is over and we're all born victorious, if the race is over, what then? Thank you. That's nice of you. I have no answers to any of those questions. And I also have a few songs that I can't really accompany myself on, that I sing with tracks, which I only do when there's just no other way around it. And this is a song called Middle Ground I'll do with a track. And on this particular song, the reason I'm using a track is because it's actually a duet with a friend of mine named Nemo. And have any of you seen, some of you have seen Nemo's songs or my collaborations with Nemo. So if you haven't, look up NIMO or My Name and Nemo, Daniel Nahmod and Nemo on YouTube. And the videos are beautiful. and I am not the beautiful part of them. I am the no. I'm not. You got to see them first. I'm the chubby white balding part of them, and then comes Nemo. Nemo is he grew up in Southern California. His parents still live in Southern California. His name is Nimesh Patel, and he's Indian American, and he had a very ordinary career path from Wharton School of Business to American Express, to starting his own media company and launching a successful animated television show, then to starting a successful Sony Records recording group, a performing music group with 5 other guys in Southeast Asia, to climbing the charts on MTV, to quitting all of it, to become a volunteer and a life-saving philanthropist at Gandhi's ashram in India, where he now lives. So, like I said, a very typical career path. And he builds schools and does arts programs and academic programs for kids living in cardboard boxes and on the streets around Ahmedabad, which is a big city in India where Gandhi lived, worked, and died. And he is an amazing guy and one of my favorite people, one of my best friends. And he lives there. When he comes to town to see his parents, he stops by our house, and we work on music together. And actually, sometimes we work on music when he's in India, and I'm in Orange County. So this song, he happened to be in town when I was working on this song, which to me was just a little guitar song, saying something that to me seemed sort of obvious. I mean, I don't know. I sing a bunch of songs that, like I sometimes say about One Power, that I'll stop singing it when it's so obvious that it doesn't need to be sung, you know. And clearly we're not there. And the same is true about the message of this song. So he heard it when he was at the house, and he's like, "I like that one." And I said, "Well, then go write a rap to it." And he and I have performed. We performed maybe 10 times total. It's very difficult to arrange because he's in India and I'm here. So we've performed in Kentucky. We performed in California. We performed the biggest thrill we had as performers. He and I did for like 10,000 people. We played at the Parliament of World Religions in Toronto on the big stage with a screen that made me look even larger. Let's just say, and not in a good way. Giant screens behind us, and that was a real kick. And to give you an idea of what kind of guy Nemo is, and this is really true, is that the people who organized the Parliament of World Religions called him and said, "We want you to come, we're going to fly you from India to perform." And he said, "Well, okay, you got to bring Dan in." And they're like, "Who's Dan?" And he said, that other guy in the videos, the guy who does the songs with me, you got to bring him in. And he refused to say yes until they booked my flight too. And so we had this life, it was a real bucket list experience. Actually, for me, I don't keep mentioning One Power normally, but singing One Power at the Parliament of World Religions, that was a real thrill. Because those people, they're there to sit with each other, regardless of background, regardless of belief. And that's why I wrote that song. And I told the organizer, I said, I told them specifically that this is very meaningful for me. And they loved the song, but it was, I think I loved it more, or the experience more. Anyway, so here is a song with Nemo and me called Middle Ground. You can crank this one up. There's a left and a right. Nobody ever seems to unmake up their mind and find the in-betweens. It's an endless fight. Nobody can agree. Well, maybe it's time that you and I should meet in the middle ground. We're gonna find it. Yeah, it's the middle ground. Gonna find it. Yeah, in the middle ground.
Where I wanna be, but nobody sees what I wanna see. So I gotta leave what I'm gonna dream.
'Cause As everybody says, Nemo got no practicality. Ooh, 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 that I believe will meet in the middle ground. We're gonna find it. Yeah, it's the middle ground. I've been thinking of a simple place that we can meet, a place that we can be, a place that we can dream in. I know you've been thinking of the same place just like me, so why don't we just stop for a beat in the middle ground? Does anyone know how to get there? Or have I lost my mind? Should I just let go and not care? Or do I dare to find the middle ground? Oh, yeah. Gonna find it. Do, 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 do. Oh, yeah. Do, 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 do. There's a left and a right. Everyone's tempted to say that the world is black and white when it's a million shades of gray. We are brothers and sisters no matter what your position is. So what if a compromise is the answer that we seek? It's the middle ground. United we stand, divided we fall now. Together we can make a difference in the middle ground. United we stand, divided we fall now. Together we can make a difference. It's the middle ground. I've been thinking of a simple place that we can meet, a place that we can be, a place that we can dream in. I know you've been thinking of the same place just like me. So why don't we just stop for a beat in the middle ground, middle ground, middle ground. A place that we can meet, a place that we can dream in. I know you've been thinking of the same place just like me. So why don't we just stop for a beat in the middle ground? Seems simple. Not so much, but this song comes to mind. I used to first few years of doing concerts, I would make a set list because I went to a lot of concerts as a kid, and I can hear my dad's voice in my head, like saying something like, paid good money for the concert and he didn't even prepare, didn't even rehearse, or that kind of thing. But so I would make a set list thinking I was being a good boy, and then I realized that I didn't get like 3 songs into any concert ever and stick with the set list. I mean, it never ever worked, because as Michael and the band and sound crew discovered today, Danny doesn't commit to songs very well. I just don't do it. I can do it. I mean, if I have to do it, I do it. But anyway, so this song comes to mind for a couple of weird coincidences. One is I just sang it. I do a Facebook show oh, by the way, you're always invited. I never remember to mention it, but Monday nights I do a concert live from my home on Facebook, Daniel Nahmod USA, 6 o'clock every Monday night. I missed, somebody told me I missed 2 last year, which is very unusual. I haven't missed one since the pandemic started. I basically started. I've done thousands of these things online, but now every Monday night, 6 o'clock, if I'm out of town, sometimes I'll film something from the road. I'll do all kinds of things, but you're invited. But anyway, so my wife is very, very camera shy, just does not ever want attention. But I did manage to get her to sit next to me on one of the Monday night shows a couple weeks ago, and I asked her if there were any songs she wanted to hear, and this is actually one of her favorite songs of mine, and it came up, and I talked a little bit about it. That when I wrote it, a man came up to me afterwards and said, a successful songwriter, and said, "Boy, do you have a recording of that song? I want to share it with somebody." And I said, "No." And he said, "Well, I'll tell you what, I'll trade you. You come to my home and I'll record it if I can share the recording with my one friend." And sure enough, he did. He honored that, and he He was a very, very lovely man. His name was Alan O'Day, and we hung out for an afternoon. And his wife was lovely, and it was just a quality guy doing a very nice thing for a young guy who, this is 25 years ago. And then we watched a movie. We watched an amazing science fiction movie a few days ago with Jude called Super 8. Super 8. It's really a great movie, especially for teen. It's like a horror movie, but with minus most of the horror, which I don't do horror movies. I figure life is scary enough as it is. But anyway, in the movie came Alan O'Day. I had just talked about him on screen and whatever, and Alan O'Day, who wrote a song called Undercover Angel and sang it, and it was on the radio maybe in the 70s or something, and I'm like, Melina, there he is. And so I always associate, I have lots of associations with my songs. These songs are, life moments. These are stories in my life. So when I'm singing it, I'm thinking about it. I'm not just performing it. I'm not performing it at all, to be honest. Like I would sing it the same alone, in a way, if that makes sense. So this song has always felt 28% smarter than I am. More mature and smarter, like I'm post-therapy, but this is post-therapy farther along in the process. And so I'll share the song with you in case somebody in this room will benefit from it. I didn't mean to forgive you for all the harm you've done. I didn't plan to understand you, but against my will I've begun. In searching my soul I found that place. Now there's no mistaking this calmer space. I never counted my blessings. I only saw where you failed. Blinded myself to the lessons you taught in so much detail. Well, time has a way of clearing sight, like slowly someone turned on a light. I'm adding years to my life, to my life, by saying goodbye to my anger. I've frozen years of my life, holding so much cold inside. Now finally I find I have cried the ice away. I didn't know you'd consumed me. Couldn't see what I'd become. Thought I was some kind of grown-up, but I was still so young. And the more I denied it, the worse it grew, till all I was left with was blaming you. I'm adding years to my life, years to my life, by saying goodbye to my I Now, I would like to, if I could, I mentioned it this morning, do a couple songs. Thank you for being here so much. I'm really glad you guys stopped by. Have a great afternoon. Sorry if I bored your kids too badly. So you'll find out later. Oh, no, have a great time. I'm just apologizing to them, that's all. Somebody once, a grandmother once came up to me with her granddaughter in her hand, like a little 7 or 8 year old little girl, and the woman says to her granddaughter, she says, "This is Daniel. It's his music that we've been listening to in the car all this time." And she looks at me like this, the little girl. And I'm like, I get it, I'm sorry. You're captive, it's not my fault, I'm sorry. Anyway, so I'd like to share a couple of songs from my musical, and there are a couple of tricks to it. This is unresolved, this is not finished. And performing them live is still very new. I've only done it a handful of times, a handful of songs. But if you're open to it, I can share with you a couple of these things. I did send a couple of the tracks to the back there because they're not under my fingers yet, these songs, you know what I mean? Like, I'm still working on them, and I don't know them by heart because I've been working on rewriting them and fixing them and changing them, and it is one hell of a big job. I'm not comparing myself to Lin-Manuel Miranda in any way, except to say that when I hear him talk about how long it took him to write Hamilton, I get it. Because I really conceived this thing like 15 years ago, and then actually wrote a fair number of pages of it and then completely forgot. And then like 5 years ago, maybe at the most, I had an idea for a musical and then seriously accidentally discovered that I had already started it like a decade earlier and had completely forgotten. And if that concerns you about my memory, me too. But it did also reinforce, like, okay, this is a story that has staying power, because like I talked about this morning, you can't write a musical and aim for you can aim for Broadway if you want, but my God. It's just like signing up for Little League and going for the big leagues. You're not going to enjoy a single minute of Little League if all you want to do is make it big. You know what I mean? So for me, the encouraging part about that is that the same story had stuck with me for all these years, that it was still a story I wanted to tell. And as I sometimes say in workshops that I lead and teach and so on, I sometimes say, whose book would you want to read? The book written by the person desperate to get on the bestseller list, or the person who wrote the book, or the book written by the person who had to write the book, because it was like theirs to write. It was their mission to write it. They dreamed of writing it. Even if it's a worse book objectively, you can feel when somebody had a story they needed to tell. I'm not saying this about my musical. I'm saying like even nonfiction, fiction, it's just true, I think, about art. You can feel when somebody needed to say something or sing something or paint something. You can feel their commitment to it. So I am committed to this and about to be committed for it. Because and this is now really the last 2 or 3 years of hard work, and the last year in particular, 2025, was really the year of the unpaid work on the musical. My wife is ready for it to be done, and it would be fantastic if someday I can look back and say I got paid minimum wage to write that thing, but we'll see. Anyway, so it's a story. I'm not going to belabor. I'm not going to tell you the whole story. There's no reason, but I'll get to the point. Like these, I have a couple songs queued up. The first one is named after a cereal back there. You should see it. So it's a story of a guy. It's based on a guy like me, but it's not my story at all. It's not my father in the story. It's not my brother in the story. The guy has a brother. He has a father. There's a girl next door. So it's a boy named David and his older brother Todd. David is a gifted guy. Todd, a little less so. He's a couple years older. He's much less ambitious, much less charismatic. Loves his kid brother David. And they have a girl next door named Maddie who had a very hard childhood that we find out about during this show, and she always loved these two boys, and they loved her like brothers, essentially, and they looked after her, and she and they never even really knew how much they meant to her. So when David, it's the story of a guy who goes off to L.A. to make it in music, but his shortcoming, his Achilles heel, is that he's deeply sincere. And he, like I talked about this morning with some of my songs, he really truly wants like his music to be really emotional and impactful. He wants to save people's lives with his music. He wants to make people cry and laugh. He doesn't care about entertaining as much as he wants to like make music that matters in his mind. That's in his own interpretation of that. Meanwhile, he was raised to become a lawyer, and his father has absolutely no support in him for this terrible, terrible plan to throw away his college degree, to throw away all the opportunities being handed to him to go do what he wants to do. You know, in the words of his father, you know, you're nobody's savior. You think the entertainment business is where you're going to change the world, you know. So David moves off to L.A., and his brother Todd insists on going with him to look after his key. He says, "Who's going to hold off the paparazzi?" You know, and his father's like, "Oh God, right, of course, paparazzi." And then Maddie, the girl next door, is standing there watching them go, getting ready to leave right after David has graduated from college. And Maddie says, you know, essentially, "Can I come too?" And they're like, "Of course you can come too." So the three of them go off to L.A. and they watch David ride what turns out to be a pretty wild ride. And it is, in fact, it really turns out to be a battle for David. The struggle is really the struggle between, on one hand, being authentic, sincere, vulnerable. Authentic is really the thing, of sounding like him, singing his song. And on the other hand, success. Because over here, imagine John Denver at a songwriter night now. People would look at him like, you know, "You fill up my senses," and everybody like, "What the hell is he doing?" And because the act before him, before John Denver, and the act after John Denver would bear no resemblance whatsoever to John Denver. And what would be popular and cool and commercial would be the kid shaking his or her hips, and the kids swearing, and the kids screaming, and so David is an anachronism and just does not fit, and he gets heckled and humiliated over and over again, you know, kicked off stage and made fun of by MCs, and nobody pays any attention to him. So he starts over here, and he thinks what he wants is over here, success, and he does achieve the success at the end of Act 1, and he achieves it because he's had enough, and his temper finally breaks, and the frustration and the disappointment and the hurt feelings and the embarrassment and all these things that he experiences, many of which we watch him experience, which are intended to be painful to see, and they are, I think, watching audiences laugh at him, and, you know, people interrupt his songs, and, you know, and when he finally cracks on stage and unloads this bileful, bitter, cranky, pissy song, a rock song, it goes viral, and he becomes a big star from those 3 minutes, from these 2 minutes that he just unloads. And then he has a decision to make in Act 2, because that persona is about to make him rich and famous, and he has to decide who he really is and where he really comes from. And before it's too late, essentially. He has the opportunity of a lifetime. The last scene, he sings at the Grammys. He's invited to sing at the Grammys. They want him to sing this big, pissy song that he's become famous for. And he dove all the way into the personality of it. He starts flipping off people, and we see him act like a complete jackass, you know, from that point on. His brother and Maddie, the girl next door, they don't recognize him, and they can't believe what's happened to David, and he completely loses himself. But meanwhile, his star is rising, and what was ostensibly his dream is coming true. And in our final scene, he's at the final choice point where he gets on stage at the Grammys and either acts like that guy or admits to the world and to himself. And we have lots of emotional moments and all impactful moments where we see what he's really made of and why he makes the music he makes, and he has this choice to make in the last scene. And that's really the arc of the story. But the first time we meet David. I'm going to go get the lyrics over here and just bring it back. The first time we meet David, he's a kid in high school. And the kid in high school, there are a bunch of kids hanging out in the music room after school. And and his brother, and there's some cool kids in the room, and then David and Todd and Maddie. And they're hanging out, and Maddie always wants David to sing a song. She loves his music, she loves him, right? And she's like, sing a song. You know, but Todd knows the cool kids are in the room. This is not going to go well, because David's going to sing something very cheesy or sincere, and they're not going to get it, and please don't. And Dave's like, I don't want to, and Maddie says, come on, sing something. And he does, in fact, get up there and sing something really sweet. And for a minute, it's kind of working, and then they all realize that he's actually singing a song about how much he loves his grandmother. And it does not go well, and the cool kids are like, that is gross. You know, what kind of family do you come from? And he's kind of humiliated, and Todd's desperate to save their social cred that has just been destroyed in 3 minutes that he knew was going to happen if David sang one of his cheesy songs. And Todd's like, wait, I got something else. Well, David, let's do that song we wrote at camp, at breakfast at camp. And Dave's like, no, I refuse. And Todd's like, whispers to his brother, please, man, we will never live this down if the last thing they hear from you is a love song to Bubby. We cannot stay here. We've got to do this. Start playing. And so David sits down at the piano and hesitantly and very resentfully starts playing piano, and they do this song, which, not needless to say, is much dumber. And forgive me for the language in advance of the song, and is a huge hit with the cool kids in the room. And it becomes a giant, not giant, there's only like 6 or 7 people on stage, but it becomes like an actual musical theater number, and all the kids get way into it. And by the end of it, they're high-fiving each other, and the cool kids stream out of the room, and Todd's like, yeah, that was how that was supposed to go. And it's an early lesson for David to see, you know, it's a foreshadowing of a lot of what he learns about what kind of song appeals to a crowd and how his sincere music is going to go, and it's like foreshadowing for everybody. So here is the song. Early on in the show, a room full of high school kids, like 13, 14, 15-year-olds, something like 15-year-olds maybe, and it's sung by Todd and David, and then the rest of the kids join in. Here we go. Frosted flakes, rather eat you than chicken or steak. Frosted flakes, keep that broccoli off my plate. Frosted flakes, 15 minutes I'm wide awake, then I need to take a crap. That's disgusting. Then inevitably a nap. Well, that was random. No, there's more. Dave, sing this with me. I don't wanna. Frosted flakes, processed, preserved, and the flavor's fake. Frosted flakes, start every day with a huge mistake. Frosted flakes, bottomless lust for sugar slake. They say it makes me talk too fast, but that diabetic buzz won't last. It all comes down to priorities. They say you can survive on fruit and cheese, but I'd rather die than eat green peas. So more Frosted Flakes makes me crazy. My counselors hate it. Out of control till sugar's faded. Attention span is overrated. More Frosted Flakes. Frosted Flakes, faster to the bloodstream than a piece of cake. Frosted Flakes, sweeter than whatever Minnie Crocker bakes. Frosted Flakes. Grown-ups always telling me to hit the brakes, but why would I ever say no? Say no to Mo Frosted Flakes. I'm begging you, please make it stop, David says. No, do another one. Keep it going, brother. All right. Cocoa Puffs. You can scarf them in your skivvies. You can binge them in the buff. Ew. Wait for 20 minutes, now they're brown, slimy fluff. What's not to love? Cocoa Puffs. Cocoa Puffs. Hardly any cocoa in them, look it up. The close cousins of kibble, bet they're made of the same stuff. Who cares? They're Cocoa Puffs. Shove them in your mouth straight out of the box. It'll feel like you're chewing on some poop-colored rocks. The roof of your mouth will be torn into shreds, but it's worth it not to eat cream of wheat instead. Cocoa Puffs. I wouldn't call it food, but it's close enough. Figure that a serving size is till you're throwing up. There's no such thing as too much Cocoa Puffs.
Right now the kids are all dancing.
Yada yada da yada da yada. Hey 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 hey.
And we have one more.
You guys want to hear one more?
You want to hear one more?
We do not. Yes, we do.
Oh, hell. Oops. Yes, they do.
Fruit Loops, like a million artificial little hula hoops. Fruit Loops, making me fart more than lentil soup. Fruit Loops, there's more actual fruit in a chicken coop. It smells suspiciously like cheap hairspray, and I gladly eat them every day. My favorite thing is going ooh in every color of the rainbow. Here's a scoop of the food. It's the only way to make the pain go. The Fruit Loops give me the queasy feeling of a self-help group. Once you eat them, you will know it's true. They're a bodily disaster, turn your ass into a blaster. They're a dietary fright that keeps your doctor up at night. They're a test, they're an arrestment, they're a festival of excrement. They're really not comestible, they're mostly indigestible. Arterial coagulant, extravagantly flatulent, encouraging aggression, dispossession, and depression. They'll diminish your condition. No, nutrition's not their mission. They'll extinguish your ambition till you have no pot to piss in. But it's worth the price you pay to give your mouth a holiday. Who's got a doctor we can call? Where's the nearest bathroom stall? To hell with our health, we love them all. Sugar cereal. Oh.
Thank you for humoring me. And so that's him in high school, and we fast forward, early in high school, and then we fast forward to the day of college graduation. This is that scene where father's on the driveway with his son, who just graduated college, and his older son, who he's less proud of, to be honest. His older son didn't go to college. And then Maddie is there, the girl next door, and so is David's grandmother. Their mother died when they were young, and that was their grandmother's daughter. So David and Todd's father is the son-in-law of Rivka, the grandmother. So they're all standing on the driveway, and the dad says, "You guys have a great little road trip. We'll see you in a week. Don't forget, you got your internship at the law firm with your cousin in a week. So don't come back later than Tuesday. Internship interviews on Wednesday." And Todd's like, "You got to tell him." And David says, "Yeah, Dad, I'm not coming back for the internship. I don't want to be a lawyer, and I never have. And I'm actually moving to LA. We're not going on a road trip." And his dad, and this is, did I send you "Don't Give Up on Me"? I think I did, right? Is that one of them? Yeah, okay, good. So this is two people singing. And this is the son talking to his father, trying to get to him, and his father talking to his son, trying to keep him, essentially. And they are, you be the judge whether they're listening to each other or whether they're just talking at each other. So this was a very interesting. I've never done quite like this. I've never done before. A lot of these things I've never done before, which just makes it especially fun. I've written thousands of songs and made like 25 records of my own. I've done a lot of music. But I never actually wrote a song that's really two songs in one, two people singing at each other, kind of interspersed and interwoven. And halfway through, I don't even know if I would notice if I was listening, but they actually switch songs in the middle, and they end up singing each other's song, but still not listening to each other. So there's a lot going on. This was a real exercise, like songwriting, mental exercise to do this. It took days to do. It's pretty interesting to do. This is part of that unpaid time that I told you about. So here's a song of David and his father, Bernie, having it out on the driveway before David drives away. I'll sing part of it and you'll hear the rest of it. Wait a minute, let me explain it. You think I want to be in entertainment, selling my soul for ephemeral fame, flushing my future down the drain. You should know me better than that. I'm no magician or acrobat. I just want to know what a song can do. I want to sing about something true. Mom always used to say that music has a way to make somebody's day, to change a life with a song. I want to try and help. The world's not doing so well, though you may disapprove. Don't give up on me, don't turn away. This is meant to be. You know I cannot stay, but I'm still your son, and I hope you'll be proud of who I've become. I guess we'll see. Just please don't give up. Don't give up on me. Here comes his father. I suppose an argument could be made that your father should be proud of his musical crusade. But if you go, they will eat you alive. You're gonna learn, like I did, what people will do to survive. 'Cause everybody's looking out for, only themselves look out for anyone who says they've got your best interest at heart. Everybody's gonna lie and shove you aside. If you're lucky as they kill you, they'll look you in the eye. You're a dreamer, my son, but some dreams are just dumb. You're too naive to see the heartache that's up ahead. Your intentions are pure, but you're nobody's savior. So here's rule number one: always look out for number one. Remember when I learned the piano? Tried to sing a bit of Let It Be. Well, the minute that I opened up my little mouth, I knew that I was born to live out loud. You always wanted me to be a lawyer, or some professional who wears a suit to work, gets married and has 3 kids, hedges every bet like you and Mom once did. But you missed me by a mile. A suit's never been my style. You knew this day would come. You'd wave goodbye to your son. It doesn't need to be some kind of tragedy, though I know you're angry now. And his father, what a wasted opportunity, looking through your lens of luxury, like anybody cares about a stranger in need. Oh, hoping for some advice, kid. Get the stars out of your eyes, kid, before this dream of yours leaves you sleeping on the street. Don't give up on me, oh my soul. Watch your heart and see your family. It's far apart, and it's dreams only. And I will life's not turn. Some reasons never meant to be burned. Don't give up on love. Don't give up on love. Here's David. Job is number one. Haven't you ever dreamed, Dad? Haven't you even once had something that you wanted that would not let you rest? Why does it come so hard to show me a little heart to? All that I'm asking is to wish me the best. And the chorus in the background sings, he's a dreamer, your son, and his life's just begun. He's not so naive to think there's no bumpy road ahead. Your philosophy's fine, but it's never been mine. I'm looking up, not down. My feet will leave the ground. My story's just begun. Love is my number one. Abandon me, this is Father, and throw it all away. We are family. What would your mother say about this choice you've made? And if you leave today, some mistakes cannot be erased. So you'd walk out on me. Thought I was number one for a foolish fantasy. So am I still your son? You'd give up on me. Please don't give up on me. How selfish are you, my All son? You've ever done is look out for number one. It's been interesting. So there's 25 songs in the show, and I've written probably 50 for the show, to be honest. And the first draft was like Moby Dick. It was absolutely endless, and I knew that it would be, and I just threw everything into it, and then it's been painful. I've had to pare back, like whole characters have gone away, and some of the best songs for the show that I've written are no longer fit in the show, because I can't ask people to read, sing, or attend a 7-hour musical. It's just not going to happen, or pay for and produce. So I was thinking about this actually recently, is that basically it's a split of two kinds of songs. It's songs that I already wrote, and I write a lot of different kinds of songs. So like when we have there are a couple of scenes that I especially love where somebody sings something wildly different than anything David does. Very sexy songs, very bitter songs, and then he has to go up afterwards and sing like One Power. And it's so awkward. You can just feel, and Dave's like, he's like looking at his sister and his brother and Maddie, and like, I can't do this. And they're like, go ahead, go sing it. And David's right. They have no interest in hearing, a ballad. You hear somebody's like, what is this, church? They're in a coffee shop or whatever, and he's just bringing it on. So there's two kinds of songs for me anyway. There's the songs that tell the story, and then there's the songs in the show, because it's a show about songs. You hear a lot of people sing songs, and those songs are songs I have already written in all kinds of different styles. But then there's the storytelling songs like that one I hadn't written. Those were new characters. So that was itself a writing exercise. And in fact, I'd already written "Don't Give Up on Me" for the son to sing, and then I realized, yeah, but the father feels like he's being given up on too. He raised these two boys alone after his wife died. He's been grieving ever since, and now his son is walking away, and both of his sons, as it turns out, and he is mad. And he comes around at the end. It's a part of the reconciliation at the end. Is the father realizes, I was wrong. I should have told you to go. And the line he uses is, you were right to go and make the work you want. And he sings, and they come together at the end, in case you're wondering. But so the show opens. I can tell you, I'll give you the first few minutes of it in the process, singing you a couple more songs. Not before the concert's over, but before this part's over, and then, oh yeah, the concert is almost over. I've got 2 or 3 more songs after this, if that's okay. I'm aware. You might be starving. You might have to pee desperately. You might be praying for this to be over. And by the way, a few people have left. It's okay. Just know, even if it is personal, I don't take it personally. For real, go if you need to go. I understand. I'll sing. I'll stick. I'll be here. Singing. Let's say 4 or 5 more songs total. I don't want. There's a couple songs that I have to sing for you, or I will not have done my job. But first, let me share this with you. So the show opens with in a shtetl, in an old little village, because the grandmother figures prominently. The grandmother and her grandson David are bound together, and we find out how as it goes, and it's pretty emotional. I think it's pretty impactful. And David really learns much more about why he has this urge to make this kind of music, that kind of specific music, from his grandmother before it's too late. David is called back to visit his grandmother. She has a heart attack, and in the hospital, she tells him about her experience of singing and how her father forbade her from singing. her grief and guilt about it. And she reminds David who he is. That's how kind of where you end up. But at the beginning, you see the grandmother as a young woman singing to her own mother on her mother's deathbed. So you open with, as every good Broadway musical opens, with a death scene. But what are you going to do? And Rivka's a teenager, and she's sitting next to her mother, who's clearly in pain and is dying. And she says, "Rivka, sing me the song that I used to sing for you." And she does, and this is how the show opens. Here I am, my child. Take my hand. Here I am, my child. There's no worry anymore. You've made it home. Only peace is left in store. You've made it home. Made it home. Made it home. Ooh. Here I come, my child. On the run, here I come, my child. There's no pain in all the world. You've made it home. Streets of gold and gates of pearl. You've made it home. Stay forever, won't you please? Stay forever here with me. Here comes the time to sleep. Comes the time to sleep. You've made it home. Made it home. Made it home. And that is how Rivka says goodbye to her mother, right there. And lights go down, and up comes kind of an opening number with the entire cast. Although David leads it. We don't know anything. We don't know who Rivka is at that point. We don't know anything yet. We just know we've just seen a daughter, and the mother says, "Rivka, when you sing for me, it brings me peace." And that's another theme that is recurring. It's something that David's mother told David when she was dying, and it's something David hears from other people when we see him sing during the show, and so bringing his grandmother, and he ends up singing, of course, to her in the hospital, and it brings her peace, and they sing that song together, and it's the first time Rivka has sung in 50 years when she sings with David on her own deathbed. So the opening number, we just heard that song, and then comes the whole cast in to sing this song. And what we are witnessing, we don't know anything at all, but what we're witnessing is David coming out on stage at the Grammys at the end of the show with his decision to be made. Is he going to sing? The band is ready. The producer's ready. He's ready to scream this song that we do hear him do. And it's a pretty good song. It's a pretty good song. But it's not what he is. And so he stands there, and we don't know the choice he's facing. It's just the beginning of the show. You know, ladies and gentlemen, David Braun, and he goes out and stands there, and this is how the show opens. Now, once we've had that moment with the mother and daughter. It's a whisper. This crowd is way too loud for me to hear it, but I can feel it. It's a secret. Distant rumble and thunder shaking the ground, announcing the sound. And I alone can find the tone, can find finest note I've never heard. They can take my money, they can have my car, they can mock my spirit, they can break my heart, they can run me down, tell me never return. But I guess that's a lesson that I'll never learn, 'cause when this life is over, when it's said and done, I ain't gonna lie, I don't wanna die with my song unsung, my song unsung. Whoa, 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 whoa. It's no mystery where I learned to keep my mouth shut and behave. They said it's safer that way, but that's ancient history. If I don't speak up now, there's no one left to blame. I'm signing my own name, and I alone can find the tone and find the home that I never had. They can have my money, they can have my car, they can mock my spirit, they can break my heart, they can run me down, tell me never return. But I guess that's a lesson that I'll never learn. When this life is over, when it's said and done, I ain't gonna lie, no, I ain't gonna lie, I don't wanna die with my song unsung, my song unsung. Oh, what if no one cares? If I'm soon forgotten, was I ever there? They can have my money, repossess my car. They can call me crazy. They can break my heart. They can run me down, tell me never return. But I'm tired of thinking that's what I deserve for all the years unlived, when all I did was hide, all the love ungiven, the tears uncried. I'm letting it out, yeah, I'm letting it fly. Lift my voice to a clear blue sky. There's something inside me, it's time to come out, time to climb that mountain, take a look around, see what's up ahead, see how far I've come, see that never again is my song unsung. Oh, whoa, 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 my song unsung. Whoa, whoa, I'm not gonna die with my song unsung.
We'll see. You ever hear the? It's a good mantra for the new year. In case it's helpful, maybe some of you have heard this. It's an old Taoist story. Some of you have heard it, but maybe some of you haven't. And I always like to remember it. Truly, always like to remember it when I can. Which is, it's a farmer with a son and a horse. And one day the horse runs away. And the neighbors come by to commiserate. We're so sorry, what terrible fortune. You've lost your horse. And the farmer says, we'll see. And the next day, the horse comes back to the farm. And he's met a wild horse out on the range. And he brings his friend back with him. And the neighbors come by. And they say, what incredibly good fortune. You have 2 horses where you once had 1. And the farmer says, we'll see. The next day, the farmer sends his son out to train the wild horse. And the wild horse throws his son to the ground and breaks his leg. And the neighbors come by to commiserate. We're so sorry, what terrible fortune that your son has broken his leg. And the farmer says, we'll see. And the next day, a military recruiter comes by looking for able-bodied men to send to war far away. And he sees the broken leg of the son and passes him over for the draft. And the neighbors come by and say, what wonderful fortune that your son's leg was broken. And the farmer says, we'll see.
If this is my last song, if this is my final day, if tomorrow I'll be gone, what do I want to say? If this is my last song, if it's my time to go, when my body's moved on, what will I have to show? Oh, but fortune and fame, they scatter to the wind. The things that make a name just don't matter in the end. But is the world a little more peaceful? Oceans and skies a little more blue? Is humankind a little bit wiser about the good that we can do? Does the sun shine a little bit brighter where before there was only rain? If so, then I'm glad I came. If these are my last words for all of the earth to hear, if all that I have ever been is about to disappear, if these are my last words, there's nothing that I need to say. I have only tried to serve. It's never been about talking anyway. So much hurt there is to heal, it's hard to understand. All I can hope to feel is that I am doing what I can. Is the world a little more peaceful? Oceans and skies a little more blue? Is humankind a little bit wiser about the good that we can do? Does the sun shine a little bit brighter where before there was only rain? If so, then I'm glad I came. Have I given hope to the hopeless? Has a hungry soul been fed? Has a child stood a little bit taller 'cause of something that I said? Have I left a little kindness? Have I eased a little pain? If so, then I'm glad I came. For that, I'm so glad I came. If this is my last song, what do I leave behind? What do I pass on if I am out of time?
There's a little girl that etched that song. I told you that I'm thinking about different things as I sing each song, and that song is a perfect example of it because like that. There's a line there. Has a child stood a little bit taller because of something that I said? Well, I came out with that album. It was 2007. I wrote those songs on a sabbatical exactly 20 years ago, like right now, today. I was in Moab, Utah for 3 months and wrote 125 songs during that time, and most of them are terrible, and you never want to hear them. But 11 of them became an album called Water, which has that song, If the Race is Over, that I sang earlier. They're all songs about surrender and trust. And I came back from Moab to LA, the saddest drive of my life, because Moab is red rock country, absolutely spectacularly gorgeous, and Los Angeles is not. So I set about, I didn't actually plan to, recorded this album and send out a lot of copies. Back then, I pre-sold a couple thousand copies of the Water album. So I'd order a couple thousand from the manufacturer and then literally pack them all up into padded envelopes or little sleeves and mail them off. Very expensive day at the post office, but very exciting. It's very nice. However, like the Will C story, you really have no idea. Nobody has any idea if anything they've ever made is any good. I mean, my brother told me that the night before I got married. My younger brother was married 10 years before I was, and the night before our wedding, he said, "Dan, I think that marriage is a crapshoot. I just hope your wife turns out to be as nice as mine did." That was my brother's advice the night before my wedding. And if you've ever been married, I suspect you agree with him. I mean, you just hope long term that somebody turns out to be. And there's no guarantee, and it's okay if they don't. It's not your failure to have spotted it somehow. We do what we can with the information we have. So I send out this album, and I have no idea what'll come of it. And a week later, I get an email from a girl named Emily. Emily was a little girl who used to come to this. I used to sing at this conference every year for like 6 or 7 years before the Water album, before Moab. And she was very helpful. She offered to sell CDs with me behind my table. And it's great for business to have an adorable little girl like, "You want to buy a CD?" And I'm like, "Keep it up." I'm like, "Keep going." Because nobody says no to a cute little girl with dimples, She was 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, like those age. Maybe a little older. Anyway, so helping me sell CDs, but meanwhile peppering me with questions. How'd you write that? How'd you play that? How do you play piano and sing at the same time? How'd you make the album? Where'd you meet the drummer? How'd you get this design? There's 1,000 questions. And I answered them. Well, she's a lovely girl, very nice. Of course I'm going to answer them. And then lost touch with Emily. Didn't see her for years. And then the Water album came out, and 1 week after mailing all those copies, she sends me an email. "Dear Daniel, I don't know if you remember me. My name is Emily. I used to help you sell CDs at the conference, and I used to ask you so many questions about music. And I want you to know that I just enrolled in college as a music major, and I want to be a music teacher. And you taught me so much, that I'm going to apply for the rest of my life. And I just listened to your Water album." I didn't know she had been, on the pre-order list, whatever. She said, "I just listened to your Water album, and I listened to that last song, and I wanted you to know that if you're wondering if a child stands a little bit taller because of something that you said, the answer is yes. Love, Emily." That was I got that letter in 2007, and it still tears me up. And I think about the struggle of the character in my musical, David, to do something that he feels is purposeful and helpful and of service, and to discover along the way that that's not always easy, that the road isn't paved with gold, to make a difference in somebody's life with a song or in any other way is not actually a glamorous life. It's actually the opposite of glamour. There really are no paparazzi taking pictures of all the good deeds you do, or I do, on a daily basis. You hold the door for somebody, you carry somebody's groceries, almost nobody or nobody notices. There's no credit, there's no reward, there's no award, there's no pay, there's nothing. Those little things we do, those are the most anonymous and unrewarded, unpaid things we do, uncredited, and yet you could make the argument that they're the most important things we do. And the reason I can say that, I think, is that if I asked you to think of somebody who has done something for you, a small thing that they might not even remember doing, a sentence they said to you, I know that you'd think of somebody. And they would be amazed that you remembered it, but it imprinted on you forever. And somebody out there, or in this room, would think of you if I asked the same question. They'd think of you, something you said that you may not remember even saying. That is, the painful fact is, you can chase a fortune, you can chase glory, you can build a church and want 1,000 people to come instead of 100. You can make an album and want to sell 100,000 copies instead of 10,000. You can make $1 million and want to make 10 million. You can be a reporter on local television and want to get the call from NBC National. All these things, yes, but right where you are, you can do the best work you can do. And the ego swallowing part of it is to let that be enough. Very hard to do, to let it be enough. The good you've done, the impact you've made. Has a child stood a little bit taller because of something that you said? For sure. And therefore, is it a life well lived? In my opinion, for sure. But the other half of me says, no. You don't want to impact a child, you want to impact 1 million children. You know what I mean? You don't want to give $5, you want to give $5 million. And most of us don't get that privilege. We have to be okay with tipping the waitress an extra $5. That most of us don't have. I don't have, extra to write checks with lots of zeros and wave around good news for everybody like Taylor Swift did on that tour. But she knew she had the opportunity and she took it, and that's real greatness, because how many don't when given the opportunity? So all that to say, I hope you have a wonderful, satisfied New Year. I tell kids sometimes when I'm working with kids who are about to perform something, I tell them, you don't have anything to prove. The room is already filled with friends. They love you just for walking out there. If it all falls apart, if you fall on your face, if you forget every word of every song, they already love you. It's over. The battle is won. So you can actually go and look at it as a room full of friends and just have fun and nothing else and retire, And they think I'm oversimplifying, but it really is true. And life can kind of be like that too. If you have nothing left to prove, today is a whole lot lighter. If you have nothing to prove, you've already loved enough, you already earned enough, you lost enough weight, you wrote enough songs, your house is pretty enough. I mean, just imagine it. Really, it's a very elusive feeling. Enough. So, you don't know me, but my wish for you would be to have fleeting moments of enough in the new year, where you really, that you really are already good enough, and loved enough, and achieved enough, and so on. Let's close with this little song. This song gave me one of the most beautiful moments. Oh, it's perfect dovetail of everything I just said, because there's another moment like with Emily. The stories, by the way, are not meant to sound like I'm some kind of noble hero. They're small stories, I know. But here's another small story, is that my friend Richard Rogers, a Unity minister in Phoenix, now in Florida, and he called me right after Hurricane Katrina, and out of the blue and said, I want you to fly to Houston. Let's go to the Astrodome. People who just lost everything at Katrina are in the Astrodome. Let's go walk the halls. I'll talk to people, you sing for people. And I was single, different situation. Didn't have a mortgage, no dog, no wife, no child. And I'm like, okay, all right. And he picked me up from the airport, and I didn't have my guitar with me, I was out of town, and he brought his son's guitar, and I walked the halls of the Astrodome, not halls, the floor. And there were like 10,000 people living on cots. They had lost everything in their lives. It was the closest I've ever come to a refugee camp. My friend Nemo actually visits refugee camps. I have never had that privilege. But there I was in the Astrodome singing songs for people who had lost everything. And there was a grandmother and her daughter and her granddaughter sitting on a cot, and this grandmother had, you can feel when somebody has nowhere to go. She had nowhere to go. She was sitting there on her cot. And I asked, can I sit with you on the cot? Because it's all the real estate she has in the world if her home is underwater, And she said, yeah. And I sat down, I said, can I sing you a song? She said, whatever. And I said, well, and this song popped into mind. And I said, well, I'll tell you what. You're going to know this song, and I know you don't, I'm not presuming you feel like singing, but if you felt like joining me, I'm going to close my eyes. Maybe you want to close your eyes, because this is such a tough scene. It was so tough. It was a nightmare. It really was. And I said, I'm going to close my eyes and sing you this song. And I'm going to invite you to sing with me if you feel like it. And she did. She closed her eyes, and she sang quietly with me. And it is the power. It is like my musical is about what a song can do. And that was maybe my clearest example of my entire life, literally, of what a song can do. I won't presume what happened for her in those few minutes, but I can guess. I can sense that for a few minutes the song succeeded, not me, the song succeeded at lightening her load. And then I went about my business, and I just hope wherever she is, she's okay. So we'll close with this little song, and thank you for coming. Thank you for sticking around. And I'll put out my wife's jewelry one more time. And a few of you asked me about England, about the trip to Scotland and England, which I'm doing in October. I can tell you more about that if you talk to me about it. It's not a sales pitch, it's just a fact that there are 22 people going to England and Scotland, and there are, I think, 4 spaces left. So this is for October. So if you feel like coming, if you think you might want to come, just talk to me. It's not a pressure sell. If it's yours to do, it's yours to do. I'll probably go back in 2027. I don't know, but we'll see. But in 2026, the Peru trip is full, but England and Scotland still has 4 spots last time I checked. And they are amazing trips. So if you feel like, if you can afford it, which I couldn't afford it, so I understand if you can't. But if you can afford it and have the time, and always wanted to see Stonehenge and Loch Ness and London and the Scottish Highlands and Edinburgh, and we're sleeping in a castle and we're eating in a dungeon in Scotland. So there's that. And then, and the other thing is my wife is an artist. She makes the jewelry, but she's also started to design some etching on wood, like cutting boards. We're doing some different things she's doing some different things with the laser etching tool and her own creativity. So I have a couple cutting boards out there that you can customize. That's the end of the story. Hope to come back sometime and sing for you again. And let's close with this. Oh, I have one more thing. I don't ask for favors. I really don't. But there's one favor that I am asking for now, everywhere I sing, like right now. And that is, I have a handful of people that I know in the musical theater world. I don't need the phone numbers of performers or email addresses. But if you happen to be or know somebody who is in the business simply of reading new musicals, a festival, a competition, a theater company, that would be something I would be grateful for. An introduction, that's it. Just so I can, when the second draft is done and I have these songs recorded in a couple months, I don't know how long, maybe a month, I don't know, then I have, the places I'll send it to would include this person you'd introduce me to. That's it, that's the whole favor. Because I just don't know. So everywhere I go around the country, I'm just raising that subject. And people have approached me. I know somebody in the Pittsburgh, blah, 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 or San Diego, blah, blah, blah. So if you know anybody, I would appreciate just an introduction. There's no pressure. That's it. Okay, here we go. A little song written, I think, in the 1930s, maybe 40s. And thank you again, Michael.
I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and you. And I say to myself, what a wonderful world. I see skies of blue, clouds of white, the bright blessed day and the dark sacred night. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of people going by. I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you. Colors of the rainbow, the colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of people going by. Oh, people going by. I see friends shaking hands. I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? Saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you. I hear babies cry. I hear babies cry. I watch them grow. I watch them grow. They'll learn much more. They'll learn much more than I'll ever know. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. And I say to myself, what a wonderful world.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you, Daniel. Thank you all for coming. Have a wonderful afternoon. And visit with Daniel at the back table on your way out. And we'll see you soon.